Five, four, three, two, one. Hello and welcome to 4,000 Counting. I'm Watty and Mark is back once again, and we're changing it up a little bit today ahead of this weekend's trip away to the castle and the dog pound. Mark is going to be hitting some questions my way. Let's see how I do been on the other side of this thing then, Mark.
Well, let's go. First of all, I want to ask you, there's a bit of a theme going on which fans will develop as we speak more. I just wanted to ask, how was Cardiff and the Conti Cup?
Oh, brilliant, mate. Honestly, um I always do it. I get that fucking anxiety about 2 days before I go. I think, oh, I can't be fucked. Do you know when you've booked like a trip and you get to that day or two before, it's like, oh, I could have been working this weekend. I could have been making some money. I could have been doing whatever. And then, like the night before, I'm starting to get a bit excited because now it's like one more sleep and then you go. Disappointingly, obviously, HCR Land couldn't get the visas, so it went from being a 4 game weekend for me to a 2 game weekend for me. Um, which was cool because on Saturday I got there nice and early. Oh, if you're not on our Facebook, I'll give you the cliff notes of this story. So fucking dickhead, honestly, mate. I can't explain how close it is. So I arrive like 9:50, 10 o'clock into Cardiff. It's been pure smooth journey, plain sailing, nice and easy. Jump off the train at Glasgow. I did that last time. Cardiff Central. Walk under the little tunnel bit, where all the platforms meet. So I haven't gone outside. I haven't gone even into the ticket office. And I say to the guys, I need to go down Cardiff Bay. What's the best way of getting there? And the boys that work there, like, if you just turn around, go back up to platform 6, you're going to ride that like 1, 2 minutes down to Queen Street, get off at Queen Street. You said you wait there a couple of seconds and you'll be jumping on the train before you know it. Boom, get on. 1 minute wait to Queen Street. Perfect. I think I'm cocky as fuck now. Like I'm like this trip is going so well. It's going so good. I'm heading out down to the bay from Queen Street, thinking wicked. I'm gonna get down, get into the hotel, have a little session. I jump off the train, type it in to Google, and it's like the hotel's 1.5 miles away. So I didn't think the bay was that fucking big. I'm like, really? So I'm walking back on myself, but at this point, I don't really. I've got a podcast on. I was listening to the Patrick Bet David podcast. So I was kind of half watching it, half listening to directions and keeping going. Anyway, I walk down this road, and it's a long ass road. I'm walking down it. Get into a bit of a built up area. Don't really think much of it. Clayton Hotel right there. Boom, cross over the road under the rail bridge. I'm like, okay, still not clocked, by the way, still not clocked at all. Get in there and they don't have my room ready. So I say to the girl behind reception, do you mind if I just like use the gym? Is that all right? And she's like, yeah, no problem. Go up in the gym. I was staying in the same hotel as Katowice and Grenoble. So a couple of their boys are up, like riding a bike and fucking having a stretch and loosening off. Obviously, game day for them. And I'm looking out the window. Oh, there's some Weatherspoons there. I don't remember there being like two spoons in the bay, but hey, fuck it. That's great news. This is me still thinking I'm in the bay, right? Bearing in mind, once it all comes together, I send a picture to Simo. I was like, "Oh, this is where I'm staying." He's like, "Oh, you're staying uptown, are you?" So no, 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 I'm staying in the bay. He's like, "No, you're not. I'm from here. You're staying uptown." So I get on my phone. I'm like directions to Cardiff Central Station, and it's like 100 yards. Look out the window, and the station's there. So I've got off one train, onto a second train, onto a third train, walked a mile and a half when I could have literally. It would have took. I think it took me 20 seconds to walk from the hotel to Central Station on the way back. So that was the start of my trip. What an absolute penis I am. But it just went on to be a great day. Dr. Victoria come and met me at the Clayton Hotel. So thank you
Nice.
very much for your hospitality, everybody at the Clayton. I really wish I do knew the receptionist's name. She was fantastic. She was so good to me. Um, they gave us keys to the conference room, big beautiful windows. You'll see when the episode will come out very soon. I'm having issues because my camera records. It was like The first part of the interview was like 4.5 gigabytes, and the second part was like 6.5. So it won't let me upload to Canva, which is where we normally do our editing. So you might just see it going out raw dog as a two-parter. But yeah, brilliant interview with Victoria. Really good to do it in person. It's nice to be able to kind of read off of people and sit next to them and have the conversation. What I will say is the new camera, the quality is fantastic. So
Nice.
you guys are gonna get a really good interview with Dr. Victoria. So it's not a long one, probably like 22 minutes all in, and we covered some very important subjects. I would probably urge you to watch the episode I did with Mark last week, because it gets referenced in what me and Victoria are talking about. But she's a fucking wizard, man. I love her.
Excellent. Speaks so wise. Speaks like just puts us to shame, mate. Like,
Yeah, it scares the shit
I'm
out of
glad
me.
I haven't interviewed him. I'm not on the same academic level as someone like Dr. Victoria. So
Can you remember in the group chat the first time I interviewed her? I was messaging the boys. I was like, "Fuck, what am I going to do?" But she got like two PhDs, two masters. I got like two SATs, year six. Good to go. Let's go. Um,
fudge.
but she's probably the easiest person on the planet to interview because, like you say, she does speak so well. But yeah, absolutely brilliant to talk to her. And then Alex Simmons came and met myself and Victoria. We went over the pub, a couple of gin and tonics pre-game, and it was Cardiff City versus Swansea. So it's the same pub that I'd been in a little while earlier on for like a bite to eat and a burger after the gym while I was still waiting for my room, and it was relatively quiet. Obviously, the football had finished. This place was rammed, mate. Rammed full of
That's a big derby.
Stone Island everywhere. They make like, so it's mad. So if you're like from, say, just outside Cardiff, but you're a Swansea fan, you have to go to Swansea to get on the fan bus to come to Cardiff to watch the game. Otherwise, you're not allowed in.
You're gonna get bricked otherwise. Yeah,
And you're going to get your ass kicked.
you would
Yeah,
not want to be an Englishman in Cardiff that day. That's
no,
for sure.
yeah, especially with the Polish lads out there as well. Like, it would be a long
You
day
get
for you.
smashed.
Yeah, it'd have been a long day to be a English football fan. But yeah, it was unreal. We're sitting having a conversation. We're chatting to Simo, chatting to Victoria. We're talking about the Enforcer movie, and everything that kind of ties in with that. And then next thing, these Cardiff lads just start fucking beating the wheels off these other Cardiff lads, like right next to us. They're having like full on fist fights, arguments. Obviously, we got Dr. Victoria with us, so we're like, Simo's like, "What? You don't get involved. Don't get involved. I'm not gonna get involved. I'm not. I'm not. I won't." Unless they come this way. Unless they step. But he's like, it's not worth it because they'll stop beating the shit out of each other and then just beat the shit out of us because they're all Cardiff City, like Soul Crew or whatever they call themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, these lads are all like shit kicking each other, and I was like, yeah, I think it's time to go to the rink. Time to get out of here. We got out of there. Victoria took us down to the rink, and it was such a good game. Grenoble versus Katowice, two very evenly matched teams. It went like 7 or 8 rounds in the shootout, and Grenoble ended up taking the victory, which was probably good for the competition because had had Katowice won on the night, bearing in mind the Devils had beat them on the Thursday, the Devils would have only needed a point on Sunday against Grenoble. Whereas the way it worked out, Grenoble picking up 2 points for the win in the 3 point scoring system, 2 points for the OT/shootout win, they could still win it. So Sunday, it
Makes the
was
competition a lot better, doesn't it?
it's set up for a winner takes all on Sunday.
Watty here, 4,000 and counting. I am here at Hockey Station and Sam is very kindly going to put me through the Bauer Fit Lab. So let's see what the latest and greatest technology is all about. Okay, as I said, we're going to go through the Bauer Fit Lab. Here is the latest and greatest in ice hockey technology. You can see they've got the Vapors there, the Supremes and the Shadow, and then we're going to jump right on and we're going to have a scan analysis.
Right, if you stand on there and keep your legs nice and straight, please. And if you walk over it with your left leg. Perfect. Turn around. Come back with your right. Perfect.
Have to think about that.
Right, let's check it out. about this bit, and I'll just show it quickly, and then so it takes all the. So both your feet are 7.75.
Yeah.
And then the 3D fit 8 fit 3, so you got width and volume.
Yeah.
And 2D fit, so on the lower price points, 8 double E.
Boom.
If you were to get an orthotic, you'll be fit C. So if you see here, got a lot of pressure going throughout your heels, and some there, and with orthotics, it takes it all away.
Oh wow, amazing.
So if you see there, that's kind of like the line of where the steel should be.
Yeah.
And you're having all the weight going through the heels and nowhere else.
Yeah.
So with the orthotics, you'll have less pressure on the heels and more of your weight spread out.
Awesome.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
With a Fit C orthotic.
Stood on the gantry for the. I don't know why. We were going to sit in the stands, and for whatever reason, Simo was like, "Right, let's go upstairs." We went upstairs, so we got to see Todd and Pete, Matt Myers, James Irons, Michael Hicks. I think Michael Hicks is obviously doing his new role with the IIHF. He's going to come on the podcast. I spoke to Hicksy, so Hicksy's going to come on. Be really interested to hear from him. He was always like one of my favourite refs. I always got on well with Hicksy. And then he's obviously had his role within Ice Hockey UK and Shine Dog, if you remember Shine Dog clothing and bits and bobs. So like Hicksy will be very interesting to talk to. Who else did we see up there? We met a couple of the director of the IHF, IIHF, sorry, and a few other guys, and we were stood with the police, believe it or not. So they brought in police because Katowice on the Thursday game had about 300 fans. Come the Saturday,
Skinheads.
yeah, they brought the boys in, yeah, they brought the lads in. There were some fucking units, like, you know, like all night, all super nice and that, like all sound. I think I was trying to explain to the police, I was like, this is going to be the easiest overtime you've ever done in your life. I was like, they might have brung some boys, but nothing's going to happen here. This is like, they're here to support. They're here to have a good time. I think one of them let a flare off outside the fire, outside the rink at the start, so that was making people a bit panicky. But honestly, the Katowice fans can hold their heads very, very high. They're exceptional, like so loud, so loud. Considering there's only 500 of them, mental. Like none
It's
of
enough,
them,
isn't it? So
none
no,
of them stop,
you don't
mate.
need money.
Yeah, you don't need 9,000 people in a building to make noise. Don't get me wrong, the other fans that were there, Grenoble fans and the Cardiff fans that come to watch as neutrals, they did their bit as well. But Katowice they're fucking brilliant, mate. Like honestly, so good, non-stop chanting. And if anyone's been to Europe or watched any of the videos that myself and Mark have put out in Europe, you'll see what the fans are about. They're epic, and I love it. And
And we're not talking Champions hockey games where no one really cares. Like,
no,
go to a
real
domestic game in any of these countries and the atmosphere is incredible. So when you see Katowice, this is just normal for these guys.
Yeah, and again, like someone was like, "What? Don't you want to go down and get in amongst the crowd?" I was like, "Do you know what? If I wasn't here with Simo, yeah." I said, "If I was in Katowice's rink, yeah." Like Bruno, you stand up top with all the diehards. When I went to Berlin, you're in the fan curve. Same for the second game in Cologne and anywhere I've been, yeah, get right in and amongst it because it's fucking so much fun. Like it's literally so much fun being a part of it. It feels like a different fan experience. It feels, yes,
It makes you
it's
love hockey, man. It makes you
yeah,
love
it's
hockey.
exciting. It's a buzz. I mean, we've done it when we've been like we stood behind the goal when we were in Vienna. It's not quite the same. Um, as we'll say, Bruno was like Bruno was mental, man. Those guys, they're fucking taps in the head. They don't stop. And I love the throwing the pint glass into the net in tradition. I think that's epic. It makes it such a good idea. Your cleaner never has to clean the stands up ever. They just go down to the bottom and go done because everybody does it.
Yeah, everyone.
Everyone.
The
And, you
steps,
just
the steps are clear. There's no problem with the steps. You just
no,
have to watch out for people's heads. But
Yeah,
other
try
than
not to
that,
decapitate anybody. And by the way, we're talking plastic pint glasses here, not like not glass. We're
not
not just
John
chucking
Smith's
glass down the
fucking.
front. Yeah, but yeah, like anywhere in Europe I've been, I've been lucky enough. Obviously, when I went to Bern, they had Zug in town. That was an experience because
Good
that
team.
was, but it was also 250 football hooligans for sure.
There we go.
Uh, like for sure, there was no families. There was no. All the boys were licked, taps off. Obviously taps off for the boys, but their fans again, like 250 of them, loud, like so loud. So yeah, the Katowice fans brilliant. The game itself was good. I spoke to Pete. If you saw Pete's video last week, he kind of tried to pump up the anthem, saying he wants to hear the fans be a bit louder. So I asked him about that. I was like, that was clever. I was like, that was really clever because that place is going to be fucking rocking next time the anthem. And then obviously going into the Sunday, I'll follow on from the anthem comment in a little while. It will lead into what I'm talking about. On the Sunday, it was at Devils versus Grenoble, winner takes all. And the night before, I didn't see enough from Grenoble that I thought they would trouble Cardiff. And that turned out to be the case. The boys that I said we spoke about last week on a podcast that I thought would turn up and perform. We mentioned Pellini and we mentioned Josh McDonald. Josh McDonald, I think, had 1+3. Pellini had a hat trick. Josh McDonald got forward of the tournament. Josh McDonald's the best player in the league. I don't care what
Yeah,
fucking
it's
Pellini says.
phenomenal. He's a very good
Mate,
player. Yeah.
guy's
And you
nasty.
called it before in pre-season. Remember, you sent
Yeah,
a reel of him doing the old tap ups, and you were
jokes.
just this guy.
Yeah, every time I've seen him, mate, like he's the smartest player on the ice. He can go. He gives me Tony Hand vibes, and what I mean with that is you can look like you're on him, but then he'll just buy fucking 10 yards of space from absolutely nowhere. He'll throw a little slow down or he'll take a quick step. And all of a sudden, you've gone from being within a stick length of him to him having as much time as he wants to go source backdoor. Like, he's so smart, so good. I shouted Pellini out last time as well, and that was on the form that I've seen him down in Guildford this year. He's been good on the draw. He goes to the net. He goes to the right places. So big game, big player, and he is a big game player. So he steps up. He gets the hat trick. It was awesome. They were like 5-1 up. Grenoble pulled the goalie. Pellini's got to get on the ice. Up steps Pellini. He's on the ice, and the boys are fucking looking for him, eh? Which I love that shit. Love that shit.
Yeah.
They're looking for him. He gets a chance. He's not going to make a mistake with no goalie in the net. If you haven't seen his first goal, absolute filth. Forehand, backhand shelf on a breakaway off a play breakdown. Lovely. His second goal, shout out young Bailey Harewood. He had a very good game. He didn't play too much in the first period, I don't think. But in the second period, Pete seemed to chuck him out. In the first period, there was a lot of penalties. It was like eight minutes on Grenoble, 6 minutes on Cardiff. So if you think 14 minutes, it's a lot of special teams. So a lot of times those guys lower down the lines aren't going to get on the ice.
Were there
But
a lot
second
of
period,
nerves? Were there a lot of nerves going into that game? Is that why there were a lot of bad penalties? Or was it a chippy game?
there was a little bit of chippiness, but I just genuinely think Grenoble were that step off of Cardiff. So a lot of their penalties were just being that little step off. You
Yeah.
know, half a step too slow, read the play quarter of a second too late. You leave a stick out, you leave an elbow out, you fucking leave a knee out, whatever it may be. Just when that decision making's not quite on the same power as the other team. Um, Devils had much the better of the first period. I think they outshot them 12-7, something like that. So it was evident that the Devils were going to be the team to take it to Grenoble. Grenoble had some nice players, and I hadn't really looked through their stats before, but me and you had a conversation yesterday. Started looking like Fleury, Deschamps. They've got some guys that have played, Pardubice, Sparta Prague, the Red Wings in the Dell, Liga. So these French teams, the imports they're bringing in are no fucking joke. And even some of the French boys themselves, like Fleury, like I mentioned before, a lot of these French boys are going out to these European leagues.
There's some good
And
players.
their captain was good. I can't remember his name. Um, Spoke to him in the lift, seemed like a nice guy. Uh, Generally, a good hockey team. I think they ran into a wagon in Cardiff.
Yeah, they're a good team this year.
Yeah, Cardiff are very good. And yeah, just the second period, Devils started fucking bad. I think I said it on one of my videos. Like 2.5 minutes of really good pressure from Grenoble. And then that play breakdown, Pellini gets a chance, boom, he scores. Next one, Harewood comes down, he gets put through, makes a move on the goalie. The puck's rolling on him as it comes to him. So it was always going to be a difficult one to go up on the backhand. But the goalie makes a good save, and then Pellini's Johnny on the spot, straight in on the rebound. After that, Josh McDonald got in on the action, and then Cole Sanford, and then Pellini rounded it out in the third period. I thought Grenoble did well in the third period to keep it. They only lost the period 1-0 with an empty net goal. They did well to keep it in a like a respectable manner.
Did they have a
And
good netminder? Did they have that
yeah,
Slovenian international?
yeah, the guy's a stick.
Slovenian? Yeah.
Yeah, Slovenian guy. Yeah, he wears number 69, which is epic. Good for him. Oh, the moment of the weekend talking about goaltenders. So in the game between Katowice and Grenoble on the Saturday night, goalie comes out to play the puck. He's looking up ice, and the fucking ref drills him, mate.
The
Drills
ref
him.
drills him.
Drilled him. Like
Nice.
they're both in a heat. The goalie's like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, it was so good. I think either Chasing the Park or EIHL Highlights or one of those guys, because there's a few of those boys kicking around the rink. Uh, yeah, like you'll see that on there. The content that the Devils have put out, and James and Oliver and everybody that have been down and getting involved with that. Shout out to you guys, brilliant. Some really good
Nice.
behind the scenes stuff, some good footage. I know IIHF used those guys, definitely one of those guys to do it. I think that's epic. Met some cool Devils fans along
Yeah.
the way.
Fair play.
Devils fans were great. So I talked about the anthem. I talked about Pete wanting to hear the crowd louder than the anthem on the tannoy, and yeah, it delivered. It really did deliver. I think Pete. He said to me on Saturday, "We're going to win this." Like, I was like, "What's the feeling like?" And he was like, "Yeah, we're going to win." Like, confident, assured. And I said, "What are you going to do? You're going to have the boys in for video and stuff like that." Uh, and I asked a question which I always find quite interesting. He said, "Yeah, obviously going to have video." He said, "Not a big believer in morning skate." He's like, "If guys want to go out and shoot some pucks, they can feel free," but he's not a big believer in morning skate, which I tend to agree with. But he was like, "Yeah, we will have the boys in for video before we like send them home for some food and that." And I said, "How long will the video be?" He's like, "4 minutes." Like, fucking perfect. It's like a dream. I was like, I remember when they were like
Okay.
20 minutes, 40 minutes. You stop watching and listening after about 15. Like, let's be straight. So that just shows like the levels Pete's at. Thinking about these little details, shortening it down. And they've got a big coaching staff there. You know, they got Franny, always good to see Franny. They got Kinga, Matty Myers. There's a forgive me if I'm forgetting anybody. There's a there's a good team there behind the team. And I
Yeah.
think that's a fucking huge thing for a hockey team, for the club, for the organization. You got Todd up top,
Professionally run on
really
and off the
professionally run,
ice.
really professional organization, really good game night experience. The Devils fans were pucker, man. I haven't said that word in a long time. They were class, really good from pillar to post again. I think so. Grenoble are top of the French league, and I haven't heard this chant since I was like a kid or at football. It's like the best in France, you're having a laugh. The best in France, you're having a laugh. There's one French geezer, yeah. He must be the only French geezer there that spoke English because he was stood up, fucking eyeballing all the Devils fans. And the person who was stood next to me is looking over at one of like the Devils fans leaders, going, "Yeah, do it again, like, do it again." So they're like, "Best in France, you're having a laugh," and I'm like, "Oh, this is good." But I think it'd have been better, a bit more banter had it been Katowice versus the Devils on the Sunday for all the marbles, because that would have been wild. Like the two sets of fans. The Devils fans, they had some chance, and I know like on the Steelers Orange Army post, the fans were always bitching they need some new chances instead of Steelers. Like the Devils got some proper chance going, like which I love.
Nice.
Um, And it was just yeah, it was a really good experience. I thought I thought the way they did like the trophies and the medals was cool. They got all the guys back out from Katowice. They presented them with their trophy and their medals, and then they did it for Grenoble, and then lastly the Devils, and then that national anthem for the winning Cardiff Devils was electric. I love the Welsh national anthem anyway. I think it is so cool, and the way they had it going in Cardiff at the weekend was class. Just yeah, all in all, very good
Fair
experience
play.
for the podcast to be there. Good experience for myself to get to a European final, and great to be there when a British team is in the final and winning it. So yeah, all in all, 10 out of 10 weekend. Cardiff's a great city. If you've never been, go check it out. It's a wicked spot. Load of friendly people, other than the fucking football idiots that were punching each other's heads in. Everyone else is lovely. Everyone else was lovely. Yeah, just it's a really good spot. You know, the bay's beautiful. Downtown, there's so many bars. If you're there on a Friday, Saturday night, you're spoiled for choice. Like,
Yeah, it's a
Timo
great
took me to a
spot.
few bars. Obviously, obviously he knows everybody. So you go to the door and they're like, "Yeah, come in, no queuing and all that," which is nice. My old ass doesn't want to be standing outside in the queue anymore. And then what I realised, he took us to it's a Scottish bar called Bonnie O'Rourke's. We went in there and I was in there for 4 seconds. I was like, "I'm going back to the hotel." He's like, "No, we'll get one drink and then you can go." I was like, "So I had a drink." I was like old enough to be everybody's fucking dad in here. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm like, what's going on? Way too old to be in here. Felt uncomfortable being in there. Like, I've realised that I'm starting to get to that age where it's got to be really like an over 25s bar or nothing for me now. Like, we went in. Where else did we go? I've been there before. You know, you could do like darts and axe throwing and
Yeah.
pool and golf and whatever it is. Boom Battle Bar. That's it. It's a semi-older crowd, but with quite a few nippers. But there was a bunch of boys over, and they just had the punch machine going,
Oh, here we go.
and they were going for ages. And I was like, "Let me have a go." And I just had one go in my right hand. And I was like, 9:19. I'm gonna sit back down. Then they was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah, I punch hard. Like I punch hard. I know heavy." Like, but they were like taking run-ups and like, "What?
No, I don't get that. You're not going to do that in a
Don't do
fucking
that.
fight.
Yeah, don't do that." I was like, "Stand still next time," and all of a sudden their scores start going up. So yeah, you think?
Run, swing, and miss and end up on your ass. That would be
Or
great in a
punch a
fight.
hole, punch a hole through the glass at the back of the machine, like ugh, fucking stitch, going in for stitches. Nah, I'll stay on my feet and try and hit it that way. But yeah, we did that, and then no, I had a pretty early night to be fair. And then the Sunday, I probably was planning to go out after if the Devils had won. But it got by the time like it got to like 8 o'clock, I was so tired from just being there all weekend.
Like the playoff finals last year, eh? We got to the final and it was just
But just absolutely done in. So yeah, went back, got some food early night. Actually got up and went to the gym in the morning before my train came in, which was nice. And then yeah, got plenty of content out, loads of new followers. Shout out to everyone that's new on our Facebook. Hello to our Polish friends that have signed up. Nice to have you here. Hopefully
fair
we'll be
play.
getting some content from Poland because we are planning a little road trip over there at some point maybe before the end of the year. That would be nice. Poland's quite easy for me to get to. All the airports around here kind of fly there. So hopefully get out there. Obviously not too expensive either. If you've looked into trips in Poland, it's not one of the more expensive trips. So that would be good for road tripping. That being said, if you want to sponsor 4,000 and counting, we are looking for a title sponsor. So that would be really useful. What else we got for Cardiff, Mark? Anything?
No, I wanted to actually swing it away now from the
I'll tell you
continent.
what, Mark. One
I
sec.
wanted
One sec, mate. One sec. I think that was probably long enough to go out as a standalone. Let's
okay.
just well, let's cut that little bit. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Continental Cup roundup. Up next, we have a couple more topics that we're going to be getting into in separate videos. I'm back on the road this weekend, so Mark's going to be grilling me about Leeds v Phantoms and about the dogs versus the cats. So, Mark, thank you very much. Ladies and gents,
No worries.
peace. We will see you soon.
Peace.